Hi, this is Brandon Smiley from Thirst Gym here in Terre Haute, Indiana. Today we're going to talk about how do you properly set up chains for the deadlift. Chains have some great benefit when it comes to improving your strength, your power, your speed, changing the strength curve of the training exercise that you're doing, and deadlifts are no different. How to properly set up the chains though for your deadlift is going to kind of depend upon what you have access to and then what might be ideal for your certain situation based upon that. And so we're going to talk about some different options that you have available to set the chains up. There are some ways that I think are a little more optimal than others. However, just know that all these are viable alternatives if you're able to do it. So the first thing I'm going to say is that make sure that you have the right chains. So you want these really good big 5/8 chains. These things are thick, they're heavy, all right, they make a lot of noise. You want them to be heavy. Ideally, these are going to be around 15 to 30 pounds, depending on the kind of chains that you have. These are about 20 pounds for just these alone, so I've got 40 pounds here today to show how to set these up. And then ideally, you're also going to have a carabiner on here if you would need them, which we'll talk about here in a little bit. Some of them, we don't need the carabiner, but there might be an option where you do need a carabiner on your chains to be able to set this up properly. So all of our chains here in the gym have a carabiner on them in case if we do need them for how we're going to set them up for what we're going to use them for. So the first thing I'm going to talk about is setting them up with something called chain mates. So these are essentially a collar that you can buy. They go on the end of the barbell, and they've got these really good long like metal prongs coming off of them. And so what you can do here is you can basically use these as your regular collars on your deadlift bar, on whatever bar you're using, and then you would hunker them down and the chains are going to go here on the end. So what we're going to do here, you put this on the bar, okay, and then where you put it on the bar actually is up to you. So, you know, as you get more plates, it's obviously going to come further out, and that's okay. You can even cinch them on, but ideally they're just going to go in the exact same spot here. Okay, so we'll put one there. And then we put that one there. Once those are on, then what we do is you take your 5/8 chain, and the reason I like the carabiner on here on this is I know where my middle chain's at. I don't have to count all these. And then what we do, we put the chain over the chain mate, okay? And I choose to leave it on the outside for this one chain anyways. I would. If I had multiple chains, I'd scoot them on down. Other side, put it on, and there we go. So now what you're gonna see when I go to lift this real quick, the chain will come off the ground, but there's also going to be chain on the ground. So here. So notice that I've still got chain on the ground, but there's quite a bit off. Back in place. And then back. So that's one alternative that you have. Now I know that most people don't have access to chain mates, so if you don't have access to these, that's okay. I just think that's the most ideal way to do it. And the main reason I'll say it's ideal is if you're a competitive power lifter and you use a deadlift bar, you understand that as the weight gets further out, you have more slack in this bar. If you're going to have more slack in this bar, you want that to feel like the weight and the slack is going to break the same way, right? So as you get more weight on the bar, the slack's going to get more, the bar's going to have a little more whip to it. If you constantly put your chains here on the inside, like we're going to talk here in a little bit, it's not going to break the floor the same. So understand that, which is why I think it's convenient. The other reason these are convenient is because these are always out of the way. Yeah, you got to take these off each set if you're adding weight or taking weight off. But the nice thing is once you put the chains on here, you're done. You don't have to keep taking the chains on and off, repositioning them. None of that's an issue with the chain mate. So that would be my first recommendation, is get a pair of chain mates if you have the ability to. So let's say you don't have chain mates. Your next thing you're probably going to want to get are some Elite FTS Easy Loaders. All right, these are ones that are like mainly specifically made for the deadlift. You can use them for bench press too if you really wanted to. They're smaller. They got these two O-rings on them, and basically they're designed so they can be like this. So you put them like this, and then you put them on the bar where you want them. So again, I would probably recommend that you put them out here on the side. However, that for some people that can be a pain. So I'm just going to set it up here like this, and you'll see the pitfall to this really quick. You put one there. And we put one there. Okay. So now I got them on the bar. I'm going to put them here, and they're out the same spot. Okay. And then I'm going to do the same deadlift I just did. And then back down. But now you can see I don't have as much chain off the ground. So it's not nearly the same as the chain mates, but it's relatively close. And the other pitfall is some of the shorter, I don't get that much, but also there's a little bit of a weird slack before it actually kicks in. So that's a pitfall. Easy to not easy to do. Nice thing is you don't have to take it off with the weight and anything. So once you pretty much have your chain on there, you're good to go. The other pitfall though is that these are going to move on you. If you start getting 3, 4, 5, 6 chains on one of these easy loaders, they're going to start to bunch up. Keep that in mind. If you're working in with somebody, so one of you pulls sumo, one of you pulls conventional, you either got to take both of them and get them both here in the middle, and then pull your sumo. But like I said, once you start running into 4 or 5 chains on each one of these, that clump of chains right here gets to be in the way. Okay. The other final option that you have is take these off. Is that you can just drape them over the barbell. So put that one there. Put that one there. And then you can do it this way, or I'll talk about this too. You probably don't want to drape these over the outside of the barbell, because every time you go to set it down, your plates are going to hit the chains. And that's going to make it bounce around. You're not going to hit the floor, so if you're doing reps, definitely not a good thing. So you're probably going to want to have them on the inside. Also keep in mind, as you layer these up, you get more, you're moving in, they're falling off each other, they get unbalanced, and it's not exactly ideal. So if you only got one chain on each side like this, it doesn't seem that bad. The nice thing is we've got the starting weight from the get-go, which we didn't get from the easy loaders. But if you have a tall athlete, like I'm only 5'1", and I almost got all the chain off the ground relatively close. So this has some benefits, but I would say that it's also not ideal. So when it comes to setting your chains up for your deadlift, my first recommendation is definitely going to be the chain mate. It's by far the superior way to set the chains up. Your next best bet is going to be the easy loaders from Elite FTS. I think these are probably the most practical for most people that are going to try to use chains. Chances are, though, if you go to a training facility that has chains that you can use, I don't see a reason why the owner would not buy these. These are not that expensive. They're going to last forever because they're metal. So as long as somebody doesn't like drop a huge weight on them, they're going to be fine. These are great if you have to bring your own thing. Your training facility has chains, but they don't have any other way to connect them to the bar. Then you're probably going to buy some of these from Elite for like 15, 20 bucks, and you can always keep them in your gym bag. We have them here at the facility for our athletes to use. But I definitely think the chain mate's the superior way to go. I guess that's really all I got to say about it. You've got 3 different options. Do which one works best for you based upon what you have access to. There's a best, better, good version. If you can get the best with this, great. Otherwise, if you have to, drape your chains over your barbell and just do the best you can and deal with what you kind of got to deal with. But most of all, if anything, just make sure that you've actually got real 5/8 chain. You actually don't have this crappy little dinky chain that you're gonna you know, not really do anything with. You tie your dog up to, it's not the same. You need some weight on here. If you're using chains, more than likely you're probably somebody that actually deadlifts 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 800 pounds. So you probably understand that you need something like this and you can't get by with the dinky jog chain. So if you got any questions about this, feel free to leave them in the comment section. Hopefully this helped you figure out a way to set your chain ends up if you need to. That's all I've got. Thanks. Have a great day.